Welcome back to the channel. Today we're explaining the question that you ask yourself every day. Why am I empty? And how porn use is draining your life force. Guys, porn doesn't fill the void, it creates it. When you use again, you are filling the void that the last session created. This is one of the biggest points of the Easy Peasy book. And when you figure this out, it's mind-blowing. You realize why you're even doing it. Okay? When you finished your last session, you experienced guilt, shame, regret, and you had thoughts about how you may never stop. Hopelessness. For the user trying to stop, these are the worst thoughts to have, and they have them every day. The user clocks into work with low energy and confidence, since just 1 hour ago they were visiting their favorite site. And it doesn't have to be work either. It is everything they do in life. Okay, now they're hanging out with their significant other, friends, family, etc. After a long day of feeling empty and foggy, the user climbs back into bed again and the cycle repeats. Ah, man, I just couldn't really say anything. I felt so awkward. You're not yourself anymore. And you're trying to go through life, you're kicking your feet. And this kind of when you put yourself down like this, it makes you that much more vulnerable to using again when you get back in that bed and start scrolling on TikTok. They're bored and feeling empty, You're bored, but your subconscious knows exactly what your brain wants, and that is visiting porn sites. The user wants to stop. It is obvious to them that the using porn is a bad thing and that they want to start. But it's to stop, my bad. But it's too late by this point. The user has been here before. They will end up using again just like all the nights before then. You'll you're just constantly at a war with yourself, which is a big talking point in this video. If any of this sounds like you are if any of this sounds like you are addicted to porn and realizing it is a great step towards quitting it. So here's how porn is creating a void in your life. Starting with dopamine surges, the classic. This is kind of like the whole reason why you can't stop. It's your dopamine. You're addicted to it. Check this out right here. Okay, cocaine, You go up, you crash. It's normal. A little food, you have a little burger right here. Oh wow, this burger's great. Then it kind of just flatlines. Your dopamine returns to baseline because food isn't bad for you unless you're over consuming. But guess what? You're always going to be over consuming porn. And even if you're trying to cut down once a week, you're still addicted. So for those of you who think that you're not, once a week, you're still setting time away for porn, bro. You're addicted. Sorry. But that's okay. That's why I'm here to help everyone out. So look at this. Porn will keep you at this just peak of dopamine for hours. Let's say you actually gooned for 5 hours. Your dopamine would be like this, just just chilling up there at the top. And then you would crash lower than where we started. And when you do that, that's why you feel like this guy right here, freaking Dawn of the Dead, dude. You're Dawn of the Dead. You're a walking dead. Seriously. So, repeated high dopamine spikes, what does it do? It throws off your natural balance. When you're not watching it, dopamine levels crash, leaving you feel flat, restless, or uneasy, guys. That emotional dip often gets mistaken for anxiety. Oh, I'm just anxious. I'm depressed. Well, you know what? It's probably because you watched porn for 3 hours and you crashed, right? It's like any other drug. We've all crashed from coffee. We know what it's like to feel weird after a nicotine buzz. For those that vape, I mean, shit, it is 2025. The odds of some of you vaping are probably pretty high. I vape often. It's no secret. Okay. So even there's still things I need to get off of, but this is why we're here. We're here to jog our thoughts and just get off things that don't serve us. Okay. My second point being is war within oneself. You are constantly battling yourself. Most users feel a disconnect between their values and their behavior. They tell themselves, oh, I'll quit, but they don't. That internal conflict builds tension and self-doubt, both core drivers of anxiety. This is what keeps you addicted because you're just putting yourself down. When it's an endless loop, you're just never going to stop because That shame and guilt helps you get back to that next session, which causes more shame and guilt, which leads you to the next session. See my point? It's never ending. All right. Next point, isolation. Look at this guy. Uh, Not tonight, guys. I'm just gonna watch Death Note. Oh, I'm not really feeling it. I always wonder how many other people are really struggling because when they do this kind of stuff, you're always like, oh, you're being lame. He's being lame. Who knows? It could be your best friend that's going through this, but they're not voicing it. This is exactly why we need to voice our struggles with each other. It is not embarrassing, dude. It is literally the worst thing that is going on right now between males on a national level. Who knows how many men are truly affected by this, all right? So yeah, isolation. Porn use is done in secret. Frequent porn use is often done in secret, right? It pulls the user away from real relationships and creates a feedback loop of loneliness, which fuels both anxiety and depression. The user will bail on plans and opportunities to be able to have their session. If it is made up in the mind that the session will happen, the user will protect this expectation. Let's say they're at work and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so stressed. I can't wait to get home and just freaking fap all night." Those are thoughts that the porn user will have. I had them. Whether it's subconscious, you pack it away. It's not so explicit, but it's subconscious. It's there. If it is made up in the mind that the session will happen, the user, again, they will protect this expectation. Even if the user isn't aware of their addiction, this loneliness will ensue. This is bad. This keeps you from living your life. So if this sounds like you, please keep watching. Porn becomes your cop out for stress. Look at this. I mean, this is the best way I could really show it. It becomes a go-to tool for stress relief, but it doesn't solve stress, guys. It numbs it temporarily. This just will keep happening over and over, what you see right here. Long term, it will weaken your ability to handle discomfort or uncertainty, and it will make you more sensitive to life's everyday stressors. I would often crash out and visit my favorite site while trying to study for a test. I'd battle myself not to view the site, living in fear that I would slip up. Again, it is fear that keeps us addicted. Do not forget this. When you quit, you eventually become so confident that you don't need it anymore intrinsically. Like I've said before, that you aren't afraid of slipping up. You're not being like, oh, I really don't want to relapse again. I'm just trying to study, dude. It's these thoughts that get you, okay? You need, you eventually will get to a point where you're like, I'm not even afraid. I can use this laptop all day. And that's because you understand that porn is ruining your life and that you truly don't need it. Again, it is not the willpower. You can't just force it down. You can't just force yourself not to view while you're trying to study. That's what I tried to do for years. You have to literally see no value in it. And once you have done that and truly understand that you are not a user anymore, you won't get the urges. You won't think about it. You won't ponder over it. You won't have to fight anything because you are just a different person now. If any of this sounds like you are addicted to porn, guys, and realizing it is a great step to quitting. Awareness is how we get the gears turning in our heads. So make sure to follow to get those gears turning. I'll see y'all next time.